Salvete pulcherrimi. I hope you're doing well. We're picking up right where we left off. Again, this is Book 2, Chapter 11 of Livy's Ab Urbe Condita on Wheelock's Latin Reader. We're on page 159 and starting, I guess, from line 202 with the brevique. So again, I pulled this text from online. Some of these V's that are on Wheelock's have become U's here. Of course, that's the same thing in Latin. So we have brevique. This is just a connecting and. You'll see I have a new thinner pen this time around. So this is just a connector. And where we left off, ... Brevi, this is a short third declension adjective. Short because that's what it means. That's a long I ablative. So it really means brevi tempore. In a short time later. That's what, so and in a short time. That's all that's saying. Brevique. Latin's very terse like that. Adeo, we've seen that before. This is so blank, so adjective, that. We'll end up getting that later with a ut clause. So let's be on the lookout for that. So, and in a short time later, so infestum, so dangerous, the whole Roman field. So this is the kind of area outside the city walls, right? This is kind of just around, and that's where, of course, your agricultural production takes place. You've got a densely populated city, even if it's just a village or hamlet at this point in 508 BCE, but your actual food source comes from outside of the city walls. So the entire field, the works of Rome, outside the city walls, he had restored, had turned over. So this is from red do, and of course that's do dare, but here we have this third principal part, so this is perfect. And again, the subject of all this is porcena. That's our subject. So porcena gave over, or I think we will want to translate this rendered, even if that's not in the back of Wheelock's glossary as one of the options for Redo. It is an option for Redo, and I think that's the best one we have here. So, and in a short time, Porcena rendered the entire Roman field this, dangerous, infested. So what do we have here? Well, this is, once again, what we'll call a factative sentence or clause. He's making this accusative thing, which is literally the direct object, because that's what he's working on, but he's making it something. He's making it infestus. So that's what's going on here. And in a short time, Porcena rendered the whole Roman field so dangerous that. So we finally get that ut clause. This is a result of his rendering, of his plundering. That not other things, cetera, that's what we have etc., as we say in English, and the rest. So not the rest only, out of the fields. Again, this is ager, agri, masculine, means field. So if we have not only, in English we expect but also, and this is also the case in Latin. Often it's non solum sed etiam, but we don't have etiam here, we have quoque. So not only other things from the fields, but pecus. So what's pecus? That's the flock word. This is where we get pecuniary from. When we're talking about money, it's unclear whether the origin of our word pecuniary, let me write that out, deals with actual counting flocks and cattle as money, or because some of the earliest coinage actually had images of sheep or cattle on it. So not only their other things, that is their agricultural instruments or other foods, but the flocks, the living animals even, all, omne, working with pecus, which is neuter. So pecus, pecoris, neuter. I think we saw this earlier with the master of the royal flock. We've seen this word before when we were talking about Faustulus, back in book 1 of Livy. So not only all their other things, cetera, but from the fields, but even the flocks themselves, or here it's singular, but think of it as the entire Roman flock, all of it, into the city. Nice accusative with motion toward. Remember, just in the last segment we had in plano, in the plain and on the banks. This was a ablative because it was a static location where we were. This is an accusative of motion into the city. That's the difference there. So not only all the rest of the things from the fields, but even the flock, all of it, compelleretur, is with the result that everything is brought in to the city. So good, we get our verb at the end of this ut clause of result. So this is the end of our clause. But look at this. Right next we get neque. So what is this que? Again, just like up here, it's a tack on, it means and. And then this ne is, once again, our negative ut clause. So what we're opening up is we've just closed one clause of result, but we're going to get another clause of result. Notice also in the passage we just had, let me scroll back up to it, this was earlier, we had this paired et ad custodiam and then et ut praeditum. We got this pairing of purposes. Now we're getting a pairing of results. This is Livy's style in a nutshell. This is exactly what he's trying to do. There's a lot of parallelism, not only in the kind of events that are happening, but in the grammar that is being used to express it. So rendered it so in festus that not only were the other implements and the flock brought into the city, driven in, we might say, but so all that happened, and in order, or with the result that quisquam. So remember we had aliquid above. Here we have another kind of indefinite, and this means anyone. But because there's no aliquis, there's nothing that's getting lost before the ne, so that not anyone, and if you're kind of logically inclined, not anyone equals no one. That's what is exactly being said here. You could say ut nemo, that no one, but that's not what he's doing. He's saying ne quisquam. We've got different options in Latin for what Livy is trying to express. But the result of the whole Roman field being so dangerous is that not anyone beyond the gates, so extra portas, accusative here working with this is a prepositional phrase, auderet, would dare, propellere, so to drive forth. Well, what are we driving forth? Here, again, we've had all this pello while we're driving the pecus. So now we've got cattle living in the city because no one's going to take them out because that's going to present an opportunity, an occasio, for Porsena's soldiers, his milites, to plunder. So if you were to walk out, they'd kill you and take your sheep. So everyone's stuck in the city. You can imagine before a time of good sanitation and other things, this is setting the city up for plague. Not only starvation, but plague. This is bad news bears for the Romans. We'll see who comes to the rescue in our next section, which will start at Obsidio erat. That's actually in chapter 12 of book 2, but Wheelock just moves around, and so can we. See you then.